How you doing, folks? My name's Tim McKillican for OutstandingPoker.com. I'm one of the pros at the training site, and I just wanted to give you guys an overview of what we do at OutstandingPoker.com and some of the content that we come up with to help people make a profit playing poker. It's not a difficult game once you learn how to sort of play properly, play for the long term, not get your emotions involved, and know some of the more I don't know, in-depth techniques we use to really play profitable poker. So I wanted to give you guys a sample of what we do and some of the content services that we provide through the site. Um, this is typically how we do our videos. Is typically a one table, or sometimes I'll load up two tables to get a little bit more action. But then just talk about my thought process throughout the hands and why I'm making certain moves. And sort of the thought process and reasoning behind it, or even sometimes if I'm not even involved in the hand, just talking about general poker concepts that are really important to become a long-term successful, profitable poker player. This is the standard setup here. Like I said, one table or sometimes two tables to get a little bit more action. But I cover a lot of different concepts that are vital to being a winning player. One of the main one that I'd like to start with is just talking about positional play. Now, when I say positional play, I'm really stressing that the position you have at the table relative to the dealer or button is very important, because if you get to act last, or after your opponents do on each street, then you have such an advantage because you have that much more information to go on when making your moves. So if you sense that your opponent might be weak, you can maybe push them, bet as a bluff and push them off their hand, or you might be able to just, if you're drawing, you can check behind and not have to worry about putting more money into the pot. If like you would if you check to your opponent and then they sense that you were weak and made a bet. So there's a lot of advantages to that, and in the videos I do get into really positional play as one of the main first concepts that beginners should really start to think about, and one of the fundamental mistakes that a lot of players make that you can really capitalize and take advantage of while you play poker, because really, the main way that you make your money as a poker player is capitalizing on others' mistakes. Like, as long as you're playing solid fundamental poker, you're going to show a profit in the long run. And yeah, people will say, yeah, there's luck involved, and it depends on what cards show up. But in the long run, if you play enough hands, the situations where you're on either side of the luck even out. So a lot of times, if you're just making the right call, then uh, in the long run, it will definitely work out. That's one of the main positional play is one of the main concepts, as well as just like, well, how does positional play affect like starting hand values? So you notice that I have ace five suited here. Um, Now I may potentially, okay, we have a limper on the button here, which generally means that this guy's a weaker player, because when we do advocate at OutstandingPoker.com, if you're getting involved in a pot, you really want to be coming in and playing aggressively. And now both these players just signify weaker players. Like, we get a limp on the button, and then just a slight min raise. I'll call here just for what we call implied odds, and in case I can hit strong flop like I did. That's a great flop for me. I've flopped a flush draw as well as a gut shot straight draw. Now my opponent, he min raised pre-flop there. I'm going to go ahead and bet and play this a little aggressively. Um, now this guy limp pre-flop. Chances are he doesn't have much. And then this opponent here did a sort of a min bet, which also a very weak play. Because like we said, if you're going into a pot, you really want to play it aggressively and make sure you're forcing your opponents to really to a decision. Now, if he would have raised a much larger amount, I probably would have folded, because ace five, even though it's suited, still isn't that great a hand, because if an ace flops, I still never know whether I have the best hand, because I could be outkicked by a different ace. Okay, um, I was just looking at the chat here. I thought he was saying he had AK there, that hand, but I guess it was a different hand. These are some of the concepts. This video is going to be pretty short, as it's just a promo video to get you guys, give you guys a glimpse of what we do here. But we do have sample videos as well, full-length sample videos. They're typically around 40 to 50 minutes each video. We're launching with I think around 30 videos, so there's a ton of content as well as just different strategy articles and why we make certain plays and really how to be a profitable, fundamentally strong poker player. And what we really advocate here at Outstanding Poker is just play solid fundamental poker. In the long run, you're going to turn a profit. It's really not that difficult. And I'm playing here like my usual stakes. I usually play 2-4 or 3-6 no limit, but even if you play smaller stakes where the players are even weaker and you can really capitalize on their mistakes because they're just making so many of them, then you can really even if you're not that experienced, really start to learn and start to figure out how to make a profit off playing poker, and then eventually you can even quit your job. I mean, I'm making playing just 2-4 and 3-6. I'm making over $10,000 a month, and I don't even play that much. Usually, I'll play a couple hours a day, maybe like four to 5 days a week. So it's not that much. So as long as if you really follow us at what we do and really try and follow our thought process throughout each hand and why we're making certain moves, and eventually you'll sort of get a feel for how we play and what are the most profitable moves. So I've like in this situation, I picked up Puck nines, which are a decent hand pre-flop. So I'm going to raise it up. I want to force this guy. He seems to be limping a lot. I want to force him to build a pot while I likely have a stronger hand than him, as well as I don't want my opponents to see a cheap flop behind me. I want to gain position throughout the hand, which I have now. Okay, so interesting flop. Now it's likely to given that this guy sees a lot of flops, it's likely he's sitting on at least a gut shot. So I'm gonna continuation bet here. I still figure to have the best hand, and he's likely, very likely, could be drawing now. That jack is right in his wheelhouse, so I'm gonna check behind here. I don't see myself betting again will really make him fold. Now I've hit a straight here on the river, which is interesting. Although the ace makes a higher straight, so if he does have the ace, I'm not looking too good. And that's basically the only bet I didn't want to see. Now, if he would have checked, I definitely would have value bet because there's a great likelihood that he's just sitting on maybe like two pair, like a 10 jack, maybe jack queen, that sort of thing. Now, given that he way over bet push, meaning the pot's only 107, he's bet 255, I'm going to fold. I'm just going to give him credit for the ace. A lot of weaker players will do that over bet when they do have a strong hand, and weaker players love to put you on having an ace. So I think it's just there's a good likelihood that he did have the ace there, and it's just given that he way overbet the pot. I just don't think it's profitable for me to call that bet. I just think it's too likely that he does have the ace, and if he was bluffing, like these weaker players typically will just bluff like small. They don't typically overbet the pot when they're bluffing, so it's just something that you get a feel for as you play enough. So I'm pretty confident with that fold. Although, like I said, if in another scenario he would have checked me on that river, I definitely would have been value betting and trying to get more value because um, by your opponent checking, that almost guarantees he doesn't have the ace, unless he's a super tricky player, which you don't find too many of them at these stakes. And given that I already identified that my opponent's pretty weak, given that he's min raising pre-flop, he's limping all over, I just don't give him any credit for being a strong opponent. So that's why I would have value bet had he checked to me there. So this should give you a flavor for what we do at outstandingpoker.com. There's a ton of good content to really start to learn, well, how can I become a winning poker player and eventually just start winning money. And like I said, if you get good enough and you really follow our advice and take what we're saying to heart and really dedicate yourself to it, you can like quit your day job and really take part in the really convenient and nice, easy to live by lifestyle that being a professional online poker player provides. So I picked up 5-4 offsuit on the button. I'm going to call. It's kind of a marginal call. You could argue that it folds more profitable as well, but I think this guy's a weaker player. I think I might be able to outplay him on the flop, given that I do have position. Now, didn't flop anything, I'm just going to give it up. It's a difficult flop for me to try to represent any sort of hand, so I'm not going to mess around there. I've picked up pocket nines here. I'm going to make a standard raise to 4 times the big blind. We want to start building a pot with profitable hands. I'd prefer if this guy didn't call behind me, just so that I do have position throughout the hands. The best scenario in this case would be that someone in the blinds calls, and we can play a pot with them. But I mean, I'll take it down pre-flop as well anytime. So ace 10 suited. These are the kind of hands you do want to be careful with, because when an ace does flop, you can always be kind of wary that you'll be outkicked. I'm gonna go ahead and three bet him here. Like I said, when players are on the button, they really open up their pre-flop range. So chances are I have a better hand than him, and I want to sort of build the pot and like what just happened there, take it down if I can pre-flop. So, and coming back to positional play, 6-5 offsuit is just not a hand that you really want to get involved in when you're out of position. And when I say out of position, I mean like in the blinds or under the gun, first to act. Where post flop, you're always going to be first to act against your opponent. Is just not a good spot to be in. So you really want to tighten up and make sure you're playing more premium hands in those spots. So 5-8 suited, four-handed. We have two guys that are sitting out here. If it's folded to me, I'll raise it up, given my positional advantage. But like I said, if I was in the blinds, I definitely wouldn't be messing around there. Although I have been splashing around quite a bit, you do want to be aware of your image at the table. So uh, there's a good chance that they could start doubting me in my hands. So that may be a signal that I should maybe start tightening up and get a little more premium hands in there. So that's it. I'm going to fold 4-5. It's just not something you want to play early on in position. And so that's just a quick demo of sort of what we do and what we some of the content that we provide at outstandingpoker.com. So we're really looking forward to everyone joining. I think we're going to have a lot of successful players come through the site, and we're looking forward to helping you out. So thanks for checking us out. This is Attitude 2, outstandingpoker.com.